All right, how's everyone doing? Thanks for checking out my channel over here. So what I want to talk about today is that sometimes confidence is not enough. So if you know anything about me, I try to help men with their confidence. That can go for meeting women, that can go for with fitness, it could go with wardrobe, it could go with hygiene and many other things. I truly try to help men build the confidence to do what they want to do with who they want to do it with, whenever they want to do it. So, but what I want to get into today is, sometimes confidence is not enough. And it really comes down a lot of times to talent. And I learned this a lot making films, I guess, to a certain point. I knew a lot of people. Let's just use actors for an example. So I knew a bunch of actors that were, trying to master that craft or become actors, and they were very confident in everything they did, and they were doing it throughout their life, and the truth was a lot of them weren't that good. Now, that doesn't mean by any means I want them to quit on their dream or any of those type of things. That's the last thing I want. I believe in time a lot of us could develop skills that are unbelievable, because just a lot of people aren't as talented maybe at the beginning, but as time goes on, they start to just excel. Something happens, and that's wonderful. But in this case, let's say after a certain amount of time, say you're an actor, I'll just use that for an example again, you're not just getting jobs. And my point being with that is, you may be very confident. It may be time to kind of pivot. You may have other talents in that industry, so maybe instead of acting, I'll just use, maybe it's time to maybe write, try directing, try producing, trying something else, because a lot of us get caught up thinking, we have the confidence just to be this one thing, which is wonderful. I don't want you to go after what you don't want to go after. But there may come a time where you're realizing, hey, I'm not getting the results I desire. I'm kind of maxed out on my potential. Like, you may hit a point where you're like, I have tried for so long, why am I not succeeding? But here's the deal, a lot of things that are kind of right next to it or right near it may be what you're looking for. I remember hearing that about Eddie Van Halen, I think, with his brother. One of them I think Eddie Van Halen took up the drums originally, his brother was on guitar, and then they both started to see they liked the other instrument better. Not that they were bad at the other one, but once they figured out and tried the other instrument, they both excelled incredibly. That's kind of what I'm talking about in this. A lot of times, if you have confidence in what you want to do or something similar, it may again be time to kind of pivot a little bit. I think you realize this too with a lot of people that sing, let's say. I'm kind of caught up talking about entertainment here, but they're singing, and I'd hate to say it, they got a horrible voice, and they're singing for years and years and years. They may even be in a band, they may even go in a studio, but it never seems to pop again. I wouldn't say stop singing, but maybe it's time to learn again, maybe write, maybe take up an instrument instead of just singing. There's other things you can do, especially if you have the confidence to excel in other areas. That can be at work too. I see a lot of people throughout my life that were like, caught up saying, I'm a businessman and I'm only going to do, this. I'll never do physical labor. I'll never do this type of industry. I'll never do this. But I'm looking at them going, you look like you'd be great at these other things, and you're not really that successful at what you're doing now. Maybe consider something different. I mean, it's just something that I talk a lot about sometimes, is kind of self-awareness. I think a lot of us have this, this mentality, especially if you're super confident. Super confident, in my opinion, sometimes can, it's wonderful. But sometimes we put those blinders on, and we almost believe in ourselves, which I want us to believe in ourselves, but sometimes we believe we're probably sometimes a little better than we are, or that we're going to maybe get to somewhere that we just can't seem to get to. Now, again, I'm not telling you to quit, but there may be other avenues to take to get you to where you need to be. That's kind of what I'm saying as well. So I just kind of want to do a quick video on this, because I see so many people with so many different talents, but they kind of ignore what they're really great at. And I get we all have our own dreams and our own things to go that we want to do, but really pay attention to this, because you may be struggling, a lot in some type of industry. Okay, it could be at work, it could be even in relationships or whatever. I will wrap it up with, you may have all the confidence in the world to maybe, date a certain type of women, and you want a certain type of women, and for some reason it just never seems to work out. Have the confidence to maybe try a different type of woman, maybe somebody who's not who you normally would date, maybe somebody who's a little more cultured, or somebody maybe more educated, or maybe somebody that's a different type of ethnic group, religion. political. I don't know what it is. Again, there's nothing wrong with being confident and knowing what you want. I talk about it a lot of times, but you still got to be a little more open-minded. I think sometimes to understand that there are things around you that you can probably excel in, or things can really go your way. You just got to be aware of it. So I'm going to leave it at that. If you got any questions or comments, please feel free to hit me up. My website is masteringselfconfidence.com. That podcast I said, that website actually helps. It's a program, and that's where I try to help men with their confidence. I'm also at richcelenza.com. If you want, hit me up with any questions or comments. I'd love to help you in any way I can. And believe me, I do not ever want people to think I want them to not go after their dreams. That is always my thing. But also, a lot of times you're going after those dreams, you got to understand there may be a couple other like hidden gems there. I heard a quote not long ago. It was like, I'm so happy I didn't succeed at my dream. And I think what they meant was, you found another dream, or you found something else you can do. But sometimes when we're so overly confident that this is the only thing I can do, and this is the only way it'll ever work in my life, and a lot of times that's not true. Get creative. Think about it. Step outside the box a little bit when it comes to anything. All right? Take care.